We are live on Facebook, believe it or not, live from the Airstream Studio. And for those of you that don't know David, the one or two people out there, he's a musician extraordinaire, and he has been the host of several jams. I think he still probably stands in, he does some stand-in hosting or sit-in hosting, or I don't know. Are you still hosting, David?
Only occasionally when filling in, like you say. It's much more fun just going to a jam to play than to host it. I'm enjoying that right now.
Okay, so what are we going to play first? What are we going to regale people with here? You've been doing some good tunes, so you just go ahead and play what you want.
I should be able to introduce with who it is. I think this is Kate. People you know love will turn their backs onto you. You'll lose your hair, your teeth, your knife will fall out of its sheath, but you still don't like to leave before the end of the movie. No, you still don't like to leave before the end of the show. People you hate will get their hooks into you. They'll bring you down, you'll frown. They'll tar you and drag you through town, but you still don't like to leave before the end of the movie. No, you still don't like to leave before the end of the show. Here's the part where you can imagine a solo. But you still don't like to leave before the end of the movie. And I guess they weren't that much into learning lyrics because it just does it over again. People you love will turn their backs onto you. You'll lose your hair, your teeth, your knife will fall out of its sheath, but you still don't like to leave before the end of the movie. No, you still don't like to leave before the end of the show. People you hate will get their hooks into you. They'll bring you down, you'll frown. They'll tar you and drag you through town, but you still don't like to leave before the end of the movie. No, you still don't like to leave before the end of the show.
Come on, you can do more than that. We got a crowd of people here. 50. You think somebody be caught? Okay, so David, tell me how long you've lived on Gabe. For those
10 years now, and it's
10 years.
flown by like it wasn't more than 9.
And you came all the way from the East Coast, I'm thinking.
Well, Vancouver, but just before Gabe, but Toronto and the East Coast before that.
Well, I was going to say that is the East Coast for us. Depends on
It gets more east.
What brought you out to the East-West Coast?
Mountains. I spent a summer in Banff doing an props apprenticeship at the Banff Centre, and I just loved being amongst mountains. And when I went back to Toronto after that, I found everything too flat. I had to get back amongst mountains, but because I was still working in theatre, I had to be in a major city centre, so it was Vancouver for, I think, 15 years.
I didn't know you worked in theatre.
Building props.
Oh, there you go. And that is I used to be a props person as well, so it's a vitally important part of the theater process. It's like an iceberg. Most of theater happens backstage and before the production goes on.
Yes, yeah, and
It's kind
I
of like this.
find myself watching shows on several levels now because I'll be looking at the props and thinking about how that would have been made, and
Yeah.
sometimes it can keep you from getting totally absorbed in a story, but then it's being enjoyed on other levels.
Well, tell me about Twilight Radio Theater, because that was another. That is another of your ventures. I mean, there's so many of them. But,
Yes. Well,
speaking
really
of
nice to
theater.
get back to actually acting again, which is how I started in theater in high school. And yes, with a cast that had been doing that sort of thing for, I think, already 10 years. I was asked to join along with Kathy McIntyre and Chris Jans. And we've since got a new fourth member, Adam, whose last name is slipping my mind at the moment.
That's a common name.
Kirby, thank you.
Uh-huh.
And that's a lot of fun. It's the most stress-free theater experience I've had, because I've usually, as an actor, always known rehearsals to be a long, tedious period, usually with people blowing up at each other at some point. But we just have a lot of fun at Twilight Radio.
Well, blowing up is half the fun. Well, okay, so segueing from that, what would be something that we could think of from a live theater experience that would make people feel like they're right there at home in the dinner theater? You were playing something earlier that kind of brought that to mind.
You might know at least the chorus of it or something. Put your sweet lips a little closer to the phone. We'll pretend we're together all alone. I'll tell the man to turn the jukebox way down low. And you can tell your friend there with you, he'll have to go. Whisper to me, tell me, do you still love me true? Or is he holding you the way I used to do? Though love is blind, make up your mind, I've got to know. Shall I hang up, or will you tell him he'll have to go? For you can't say the words I want to hear when you're with another man. Would you like to answer yes or no? Darling, I will understand. Whisper to me, tell me, do you still love me true? Or is he holding you the way I used to do? Though love is blind, make up your mind, I've got to know. Shall I hang up, or will you tell him he'll have to go? We'll try that again. Though love is blind, make up your mind, I've got to know. Shall I hang up, or will you tell him he'll have to go? We can fix the clapping in post-production, can't we?
I just want to know about your instrument. Don't. And everybody says that, I'm sure.
I get that a lot.
Yeah, you get that a lot. So,
Especially when I'm wearing the kilt. She served it up on a silver platter. Come on, I had to do something.
well, yeah, set it up, knock him down, bubble boom.
This instrument is a baritone ukulele. I'm hands were beginning to be bothered a bit in the guitar. I'm starting to get some arthritis, and I was looking for something smaller. I was thinking about picking up ukulele, which I'd done it before, a regular concert ukulele. That's all different chords. When I learned that the baritone ukulele has the same stringing as the top four notes on a guitar, and I wouldn't have to learn all the chords over again, that sold me on it. As well as I like the bigger sound compared to a small ukulele. So this has been my instrument of choice now. It's just so wonderful and portable and easy to carry on the bus or on a boat or anywhere.
Yeah, it's an amazing instrument too. It has a really nice deep sound and goes well with your voice because you have that nice, would you call that that's not a baritone.
I think I'd fit
more
into the baritone range. I'm not deep enough for a bass and I'm not high enough for a tenor.
I think those bass guys, they fake it sometimes, because they just have to get really far down there, and at a certain point the resonance just takes over, I think.
I was at a music retreat recently, and we were given a workshop on bluegrass harmonies. Ooh. And there were very specific parts in that. Somebody had to stay on a third, somebody had to stay on a fifth. But the bass part, they said, can wander all over, and sometimes it'll be on those parts, and sometimes it's other places. The bass had a bit more free range.
That's what I'm saying. Those bass guys, they've got a gift, and I see you're within range. And the older we get, the more bassy we get. What about Joni Mitchell? I just saw an interview with her, and she still smokes 4 packs a day, which is really, it's gotten her down to the lower registers, I would say.
That's one method.
She's still around, though. She's a granny. Anyway, okay. Hey, speaking of Joni Mitchell.
Yes.
Do you know anything? Maybe Big Yellow Taxi or something like that. Now I'm putting you on the spot because I don't even know if you know that.
Yeah, no, I don't know that. I don't know the lyrics for that.
I thought it was pretty good. It was going somewhere there. Really getting the hang of it.
How about a Canadian song interpreted by other Canadians?
Sure. That's even better.
Don't the hours grow shorter as the days go by? Never get a chance to stop and open your eyes. One day you're waiting for the sky to fall. Next you're dazzled by the beauty of it all. When your lover's in a dangerous time. Lovers in a dangerous time. This fragile body of touch and taste, this fragile skin, this hair like lace, spirits open to the thrust of grace. Never a breath you can afford to waste. When your lover in a dangerous time. Lovers in a dangerous time. When your lover's in a dangerous time. If your love's a crime, nothing worth having comes without some kind of fight. Keep on kicking at the darkness till it bleeds daylight. When your lover's in a dangerous time. Dangerous time. We are lovers in a dangerous time.
That was great.
Two Canadian birds with one stone.
Yes, exactly. Now, we do have a lot of Canadian talent. I think a lot of people don't even recognize some of the songs as being Canadian. That's the saddest thing, really, is that. And there's our very own Leonard. I think you might have. Do you have a Leonard song? I know you have Tom Waits songs. So if not a Leonard, then Tom Waits would sort of be the equivalent American version.
Yeah.
Is that true?
I would say that, yes. So wonderful songwriters with fabulous lyrics. I don't know if I know any the Leonard Cohen without some kind of book of lyrics.
That's not necessary. We don't need to go there. We don't need to. I don't. Again, trying not to put you on the spot. I'm trying to think of the songs that you actually do know, but I know you know Tom Waits, and so I'm gonna put in a request for that.
Everything is made from dreams. Time is made from honey, slow and sweet. Only the fool knows what it means. Temptation, temptation, temptation. I can't resist. I know she is made of smoke, but I've lost my way. He knows that I am broke, but I must pay. Temptation, temptation, temptation. I can't resist. Here's another place where you need an instrumental. Maybe you can dub that in too. Italian blue, he's waiting there for you. My will has disappeared, and now confusion is all so clear. Temptation, temptation, temptation. I can't resist. Temptation, temptation, I can't resist.
That sounds so good. Through my headphones, I tell you that you'd hardly know that we were just doing this as a very impromptu thing. David can always come up with the goods, I tell you. I have gone to the surf pub on many an occasion on a Thursday night. And
Thursday night jams. There's also a choice of jams on Monday nights at the
Okay,
golf
tell me
course
about the
and
jams.
at the school.
Sorry, I was over talking you.
There are acoustic jams at both the golf course and the school on Mondays from 7 till 10.
So they've started the golf course again.
Yes.
Not electric, though.
Everybody's plugged in. We call it acoustic, but there's no drum kit, and we don't have wailing electric guitars. But yes, it's always kind of a misnomer because we still plug in the acoustic stuff and amplify voices.
Yeah, it's always kind of a misnomer. Although the electric jam did get very electric at times.
And well, as soon as you had a drum kit, the noise level goes up, or the volume.
And then you got the guys that bring their own amps, and then they got to have a better amp, and then the drum kit gets louder, and it's, all hell breaks loose at a certain point. Well, we can do that.
And occasionally
here.
music breaks out too.
Yeah. Well, one thing about this location is I'm in a garage, so this literally is a garage jam, and we're near the highway, so you pretty much have to sing loud to drown out all the traffic. So it's fun that way. It's kind of a mini music festival without the people.
Or the other performers.
Well,
it's a pretty small music festival.
We have a positive attitude, and that's all it takes in this world. We'll just do it until David drops, until he has to catch a ferry, one way or the other. So carry on. I don't need to tell any more stupid stories. Okay.
Bed's too big without you. Cold wind blows right through my open door. I can't sleep with the memory. Dreaming dreams of what used to be. When she left, I was cold inside. That look on my face was just pride. No regrets, no love, no tears. Living on my own was the least of my fears. And now the bed's too big without you. The bed's too big without you. The bed's too big without you. Since that day when you gone, just had to carry on. Made it through the day, but late at night. Made love to my pillow, but it didn't feel right. Every day just the same. Old rules for the same old game. All I gained was heartache. All I made was one mistake. And now the bed's too big without you. The bed's too big without you. The bed's too big without you. Without you. Without you.
Hey, by the way, this is an interview because I'm going to be playing it on the radio show. So I'm going to ask you some more questions because there's things I don't know about you. I do know that we were talking about the fact that you were from the East. Now, tell me exactly where you grew up. I can't remember.
London, Ontario.
London, Ontario.
The
Now,
boring
that's-
London. Whenever people ask where I'm from, I say London. They go, "Oh, really?" And I say Ontario.
Well, it's funny you should say that because now I have a friend, Kim, who lives there, and I'm surprised she hasn't.
Kim, oh yeah, Kim from London. I know her.
Kim Ang.
Yeah.
There you go. Of course.
How's she doing?
You must know her. That's
Kimmy, we used to call her.
Kimi. Kimi. You have to say Kimi. Like Ice Kimi. Ice Kimi. She's probably going to tune in one of these days, but of course they're 3 hours ahead of time. So we on the Pacific Coast are right about 8:30 or so, and they're probably gone to bed. Those East Coasters, they go to bed early. That's what I've heard. But we're going to continue doing this at this time. We're going to see how it works at this time, although apparently what I need to do is have it a bit earlier anyway. So maybe we should do it at 7 o'clock for the East Coasters.
We were thinking later if you want Gabriola people to be.
Oh, that's true. So then the East Coast people just have to stay up really late or watch the...
Take a nap in the afternoons. You can get up again.
What about the people in London, England? What time is it there? Oh, no. I think it's
I don't phone anyone there, so I
they're just getting up.
Prince Philip doesn't return my calls anymore, so I don't bother.
I know. They get to a point where they just become so snobby. I won't even return my calls. I get rather tired of it. What got you playing music in the first place? What was the story there?
It was picking up instruments my brother Robert had around the house. It was his guitar that I picked up first, and he had a drum set, and he was very generous about allowing me to play on both of them and just mess around till I found something I liked. He also gave me one of my first music books, and I wasn't, I've never had guitar lessons, and I didn't sit learning scales and that, which I still don't know, but I picked up books and found songs that I enjoyed, and I'd learn enough chords to play the songs, accompany singing, and that's what brought me enjoyment and kept me playing.
Cool. How old is Robert, or how much older than you?
He is 6 years older than I.
So this was quite the privilege, because when you're a kid, he must have seemed like he was just such a cool guy, having an older brother with instruments.
Yes, and like I say, the generosity to let me play on them when I was just learning.
Yes. And how old a person would you have been at that point?
I think 14 probably I was first picking up the guitar.
Okay, so we're not talking like a 5-year-old coming over and
no,
wielding drumsticks. However, yeah.
I think the whole family's glad there wasn't a drum kit around when I was 5. Talk about ice cream. Work that in somehow.
Well, I did. I said Kimi.
That was a long time ago.
Ice Kimi.
Oh.
Kimi.
Yeah.
This is for Kimi.
This is for Kimi, yes. Any Kimi in London, Ontario.
Well, I take 'em by your house about 4:45. Sidewalk Sunday, strawberry surprise. Got a cherry popsicle right on time. A big stick, mama, that'll blow your mind. 'Cause I'm your ice cream man. I'm your one-man band. I'm your ice cream man. Honey, I'll be good to you. Well, if you meet me in the alley, baby, don't you fret. Come back around now and don't forget. When you're tired and you're hungry, you want something cool. You got something better than a swimming pool. 'Cause I'm your ice cream man. I'm your one-man band. I'm your ice cream man. Honey, I'll be good to you. I'm your ice cream man. I'm your one-man band. I'm your ice cream man. Honey, I'll be good to you. Well, if you see me coming, you ain't got no change. Don't worry, baby, that can be arranged. Show me you can smile, baby, just for me. I'll feed you with my drumstick and I'll do it for free. 'Cause I'm your ice cream man. I'm your one-man band. I'm your ice cream man. Honey, I'll be good to you. Yeah, I'm your ice cream man. I'm your one-man band. I'm your ice cream man. Honey, I'll be good to you. Oh, I'll be good to you. Honey, I'll be good to you. I'll be good to you.
Oh, yeah.
There's something to look forward to for the summer.
Yeah, and I definitely am going to cut that out of the broadcast and send it to my friend Kim in
And tell her a big
London.
hi from David in London. She'll know who am I talking.
Well, I have to say, actually, the only person I did call Kimi was my friend Karen on Salt Spring Island. She was that was her name when she was growing up. So I just couldn't help myself. Once I knew that, I had
I'd never
to call
heard
her Kimi.
that contraction before.
It's sounding really good. You know, that's the main thing. And so we're gonna have a really nice little album. I was gonna say a memorial album, a commemorative album that I can put up and let people download, because there's nothing more fun than listening to David. Listening to David Botten.
There must be some things more fun.
This is for those that are tuning in late. This is David Botten, and he is from Gabriola. I did have another question about Twilight Radio Theatre. Are you guys doing anything these days?
Our season starts with the Halloween show. We do a Christmas show and one in January and one in the spring, and then nothing for the summer. We're most of us busy doing other things.
Well, you've still got Chris involved, and I guess Tina's doing her own thing right now, and Kathy and you were saying Adam.
Adam Kirby, yes.
I think I've got it all straight there. Okie doke. All right. Say goodbye to my folks here. Say goodnight, David.
Good night, David.